Well, the clock's bad off anyway.
Oh,
We're right on.
Okay. For an hour early action.
Okay.
So there's nothing till
9:30? Who
Right,
scheduled that?
I did, well, she did.
Shame on you.
I didn't do it, she asked for that time. Doug sent me an email today, and I thought rather than read it to you, I would make you all a copy. It's just outlining what he's been doing, his meetings he had scheduled.
Tuesday.
That's for town hall meetings scheduled, for the LEPC.
So next Monday being the 17th.
Any of you want to go?
I'll probably go to the one in Maxwell. I'll try to.
No, I mean the LEPC on next Monday.
Oh, no.
I might.
You want me to tell
Yeah.
him so you'll play?
I don't know. It's too soon.
Okay.
Can't make quick decisions like that.
There's a weather spotter meeting sometime too. That happened on. Can't remember the date. Looks like he's busy.
Yeah.
And Darren wanted me to tell you that the cleanup week would be March 31st through April 5th. And they contact the city and do the advertising for it, so.
I don't think they voted on the mortgage registration fee
They
yesterday.
sent it back to committee.
They're trying to, it sounds kind of interesting what they're trying to do, but
Mitch told me they were gonna make it revenue neutral, so that you weren't gonna lose any money, which I said, as long as you do that.
yeah, but how would they do that?
Well, they just, if they convert it over to make, charging you for so many copies, they're just gonna raise the copy fee. Where everybody have to pay. It's not gonna be perfect for every county, but for the state in general, he said that he'd like to see it be revenue neutral, so you're not losing money.
Right.
So they're running different scenarios through to see how you do that. So that when those figures that Casey put out were just,
Luann says they're totally wrong now, because
fine.
they don't know.
Wrong meaning
According-
conservative wrong, or wrong meaning bogus numbers wrong?
Liberal.
I don't know, you have to ask Luann, but none of the register of deeds know where they got their numbers. As far as, I don't know.
From Topeka.
They could extrapolate
Well-
those numbers from what you.
I don't know how they would know the number of documents, or documents or pages, whatever that first column was. But there was just some discrepancies according to the register of deeds, so.
And this statute has been in effect for how many years?
1925.
Wow.
And it's broke.
The bankers,
So we're gonna fix it, they'll fix
the
it.
bankers don't like it.
Well,
And the bankers
Banks are in the
give a lot
military.
of money. That's the problem.
and I don't like the interest rate either.
Not much you can do about that either.
No.
Okay, you have tax roll corrections
I
somewhere,
got the minutes.
and there's minutes. And do you know that the county government day is now March 18th,
Yes.
if anybody's interested? I know you are, Shane.
I am,
I
right?
can tell you're totally,
Yep.
I think my schedule's full on the 18th. I make a motion we accept the tax roll corrections, 2 tax roll corrections.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the tax roll corrections.
This,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of last meeting.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the March
5th.
March the 5th.
That's Curtis.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Is that March the 5th?
today's 12th.
Today's 12.
Well, somebody messed up on that.
No, this is the day I sent it to. This is the day.
Yeah,
I'll take that
Kurt.
date off there.
Okay. Okay.
sir. Just one AM.
So,
I was wondering if you were gonna spend all that time in Topeka, what night I had to meet you at the casino.
Oh, whatever night you wish, we'll probably be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
That's okay.
so you said
We
the
have a
annual,
couple other spots we go there in town too, I can talk to you about later.
I figured. Now remember, I got breakfast, so.
He might enjoy it too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, that's all
so
I have
the
for
annual cleanup is March 31st through the
31st through 5th.
For
Yep,
everybody to trade the trash.
it's cruising for craft week, is what we call it.
Awesome.
I think people would run out of craft.
I don't think so.
Anyway, and Garland Mansell will be here next week to talk to you about trimming the trees around the courthouse. He says they need to be trimmed. He caught me in the bank yesterday, so. I think they've been doing some around this, where
I've been doing some all over town, I think.
Who's been doing them?
Trent
Trent.
has a business,
Yeah.
so
there you
I don't know
Okay.
if,
Or the cell phone.
yeah, he's the front man, I think.
Everybody has to have a job,
You're right.
Well,
Probably makes a pretty good team.
Yeah, I just have to figure that out now. He's grandson. Have you had any calls on the closing the road up in St. John Township?
Yes,
I've had two.
I've had 4 or 5.
I had several.
I just told people to come here. It wasn't.
We can discuss that now. We don't have to wait till the hearing.
I thought that Joe told us one time that, and I let Philip come back after we did that one, and said that we couldn't close a road completely, we could make a minimum maintenance
You
road.
can't landlock somebody.
Well, landlocked or even with the bridge, because we're still responsible for the bridge.
Not, according to what I understood from Philip, is if you vacate that portion of the road, you're no longer responsible for the bridge, and that's what his goal
I
was.
thought if there was a bridge there, we couldn't. I
Not
swear,
according to
I
Philip.
swear that those guys come in and told us
That's the reason
that.
he's wanting to close that, is because of that wooden rickety bridge thing.
What would happen
Well,
if,
it's only a 5-ton bridge.
He's
too.
worried that if somebody leaves the ground up in there and they try to, The
Well,
wall
5 ton, you can't cross that with a,
well, that's what Jenny said. If it's posted, I don't
you're
want
gonna have to go around.
I went
You're
up
gonna
and
have to go
sat
around.
I went up and sat on it the other night, and it's just a wooden bridge, no railing. It's not in bad shape if you cross it with a pickup. And you could probably cross it with a pickup and a trailer if you're not on it all at the same time. Any of the stringers that were broke have been replaced, but it is on Phil's list of bridges that didn't pass inspection that need to be replaced. Well, we don't need to spend $50,000 to replace a bridge that's in the middle of Jerry's pasture.
Oh,
The fence is around the bridge, it's in his pasture.
Oh,
Yeah.
But if we had a flood, it would landlock about 5 guys from getting to their pasture. There's several guys that get to their pasture by going through Jerry's and then into theirs. And Jerry has no problem with guys coming in to do that. So if we close the road, the bridge would be Jerry's. But I think we can't landlock it, I mean, we don't want to landlock anybody else. So I think we ought to have an agreement between us and Jerry to maintain the bridge. If there's parts that need to be put on it or equipment purchased, I think we could purchase it and he pays for it. Or his neighbors, him and his neighbors really ought to pay for that, and we provide the labor to fix the bridge. So I think we need an agreement between us and Jerry just to maintain that bridge. I mean, we provide the service of a road or a bridge anywhere in the county.
So
for
what's
people to get
different,
around.
what's different from that than just leaving a
Jerry.
minimum maintenance road?
Jerry would own the bridge, not us.
That way it would come off of Philip's list.
List, yeah.
Jerry says, with that being on the list, if somebody drove over that bridge right now and went through it, it's our liability.
Right.
If somebody goes through it after we close that road, is Jerry's liability, but he would probably be covered through his own insurance, so we're really not putting anything on him. But it's actually, we turn into Jerry's bridge, not our
Jerry.
Jerry's lawn.
But
It's
he
in
talked-
Jerry's pasture.
he
I
talked-
talked to Jerry, and he says, I really don't want to own the bridge.
Mhm.
But he said, I know people have to get in there, and he said, and I said, well, how about some kind of agreement between you and I, or you and the commissioners? He said, that'd be fine. He said, that bridge needs to be there.
So is this
And he
crossing
did.
creek or?
Yeah,
it is?
across the road.
It is.
And his gate, to get into his pasture, is probably 30 yards before you even get to the bridge. I didn't think I'd ever get to that bridge. It's been a
It's-
long time since I've been
It's
down.
it's been a while since I've been in there too.
And the ruts in that road are about that deep.
Yeah.
And some of the neighbors want to fix that, and Jerry wants to leave it as is, so there's not a lot of traffic going down there. And I agree with Jerry. I would not, there's no reason for more than 3 or 4 guys to ever go down there. The guys that have
That's
pasture.
true,
And it's just gooey, greasy.
And that goes
Creek
back to
bottom.
the bliss
Right.
pasture too, right? Yeah.
That's the one you're gonna really have the heat from. Jerry said he was just screaming mad that we might close that road. And Jerry said, I'm the one that calmed him down, said, you don't need to worry about it. The commissioners will fix the bridge
Yeah.
if we need some repairs on it. And almost all of
And
them say
when's
the
that
bridge is
meeting?
fine the way it is
Next week?
now.
26.
But you could have,
Joe won't be here today, but you can talk to him.
yeah,
Next week.
But not actually closing, just determined as a low maintenance road.
That's what it is now.
Yeah, it is now.
Yes.
it's not graded. The road from 4th Street, and it's about a mile and a quarter probably down to that bridge, is not maintained by the township now. So we really need to close the road, I think, or we could run that by Joe. And by closing the road, you effectively, that bridge
Get rid of the bridge.
belongs to whose property it's on. I mean, that happens all the time. The county fixes the bridge going into my house, which is
Right.
the city's property. I mean, they maintain bridges all the time.
Well, just like going in my house too, they do.
Yeah.
So it's township.
Jerry's fine with that, but you might have 1 or 2 others. And we need to have a super highway going in there.
I just think at some point that you could have heavy traffic down that road and it's gonna blow up between the people in agreement.
Well,
It could, the possibility's there.
Here's what needs to happen, and I told Jerry this, not only do we need to have an agreement between you and me, you need to have an agreement with your neighbors about crossing that bridge.
Because there's no enforcement at the time that we close the road, there's no jurisdiction for somebody drives a drilling rig across there and breaks the bridge in half.
I don't think anybody's that stupid to look at that bridge. You ought to look at that bridge, go up and park.
Well, I know there's talk of drilling up there and
And they can go through the creek just like they do in 1,000
Okay.
other places.
Okay.
But they can't go across that bridge.
I just think that, I don't know. I agree with what you're saying, but I think the stage would be set for,
That's why you need to have contracts when you
Yeah.
do all this. There's no reason they couldn't
And
spread
we've got
rock in
time.
that creek.
you've got time or we got time, I guess, all 3 of us do, to kind of talk to different people and see what they think about it too.
There doesn't need to be any traffic down that road, because at one point in time, kids
Yeah.
had a party on top of the
Yeah.
bridge and set the bridge
On
on
fire.
fire. They built a fire on top of the wood bridge.
You talking about
Did you say
Yeah.
In
something?
the pasture.
up north?
Long.
Jerry's pasture.
I still go there.
You can't stop
I
that.
know.
Except that the road's bad enough, there wouldn't be very many kids have a vehicle to get down there.
Yeah. Are you guys open?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're just discussing
Not on the
bridges,
agenda, so I
roads,
didn't want to
bridges.
interrupt anything.
Not what's on the agenda.
Don't overflood us with our morning. Keep on our schedule.
I have a step increase for Lisa Harina. I'd like to.
Didn't we just do some of these right after she,
Yeah, this is her annual, no, her regular step increase.
but didn't we raise them up?
Just Lisa. Yeah, we did.
How long ago was that, do you remember?
I think it was like. no,
It was like
it
6 months after, was it 6 months or not after
Yeah,
she started?
probably around in there,
How long should we be working?
a year.
Year.
But I wasn't planning on not giving her her annual step increase at that time. That was, there were other reasons for jump up, so.
What's the,
What's that?
what's the on
Step 4.
Step 4, or range 4, step 4. I don't know.
No. The only problem I have is that, and it's not her, but these arbitrary increases, you know, every year, it's just almost like it's guaranteed. And we're gonna have to,
Well, we did just do the across the board increase. I mean, were you aware of that? We didn't do a cost of living,
Oh, yes,
but
yeah.
we did raise everybody up, and the discussion that we had at that time was kind of like the lines what Clay's talking. We really didn't agree that we would be doing very many step increases because of that. Isn't that what we?
So you're not doing step increases anymore?
We're
No.
gonna evaluate that.
We were gonna evaluate them on a case-by-case basis, but we're gonna, I mean, because that was a pretty substantial increase when we did the across-the-board increase.
In other words, it's just not automatically
Okay, were you
guaranteed.
planning on letting the department heads know about this?
No, because we didn't set, at the time, I wanted to put a case closed on all the increases, but we didn't feel that together, we all three didn't feel that that would be the case to do. But we would have, you know, look at them on a case-by-case basis. Isn't that what we agreed on at the time?
We didn't want to rule that out for everybody.
And that's why we didn't let that's why I feel we didn't let the department heads know. Wasn't that what we discussed?
Okay, but you're letting me know now.
We're discussing it with you.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say
Well,
yes
you
or
see
no,
my-
but
you see my point.
I do see your
I do
point,
need to
but
know what's going on.
but what the point is,
You know,
that yes, we're gonna rely on the department heads on these step increases.
okay?
The other fact is that it's just automatic. You know, every year on the anniversary day, that, okay, you get a step increase. Does that person warrant the step increase?
Yes, she does. Yeah.
And, you know, and if not, then they remain the same.
And I always try to put the justification on there. As I noted in there, Lisa, you know, she projects professionalism in our office. She's a big asset. She really helped with organizing our IRP and our commercial vehicle. She set up databases and got it all organized for us. And without her, we probably wouldn't have been able to accomplish that. So
I wanted
she
to,
brings a lot to the table.
I wanted to just throw this out. I don't want to stir up a whole hornet's nest, but with the IRP and your commercial vehicle deal, isn't that something that you could do in-house in your department as far as your raise goes through your not bonus, but your earnings from that commercial vehicle IRP monies?
Oh, give wages out of my motor vehicle operating fund?
No, out of what you earn from
No.
that.
That's statute what I earn.
Well, I know that, but
No, I
that's
can't
your
give
money
that.
then.
Yeah, I cannot give that to my employees. No, but yeah, I can pay wages out of my motor vehicle operating.
Right, well, yeah, right.
Yeah, and
And I don't know, I just, when we did those raises across the board,
But you wanted me to cut my motor vehicle operating salary to pay my employees?
if you feel she's helping your IRP and
But you
commercial
don't
vehicle
have,
business.
sir, you don't have authorization to make that decision.
I just mentioned it, Lisa. I didn't say you had to, I'm just mentioning it.
Right.
Possibilities of things that we could do, you could do.
No, I can't.
Okay,
I said-
Well, I
that
think-
was a question I had.
And
Yeah.
our, and our thinking is that, you hire somebody, well, in a year, you're gonna get a step increase. It's like,
Yeah, it needs to be earned.
it needs to be earned. And that's the whole gist of this conversation is that, I see where Fred is up for a raise. They send the paper in, and
Yeah, I agree.
We've got people that have been here for 15 years and their performance probably isn't increasing. Do they just automatically get that step increase? That's what we're trying
Well,
to
you only get a
change.
step increase for 7 years,
For-
whatever.
Even,
I think
even
that-
after 5 years,
yeah.
maybe.
And the other side of that, when you've been here 15 years and you still bring a lot to the table, you're not getting awarded for it either. I mean,
You are,
it
you are
works
when
both
we give the
ways.
bonus to everybody, though. What we did earlier.
On
back-
cost of living,
Yeah.
yeah. But, I mean, you get cost of living lots of places, plus merit raises.
Do we ever change them up to the next range to where they get 7 more step increases?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's not like you're locked in after
I think
7.
she's one case we did that. Didn't we move her range?
Mhm.
I thought we did when we did that.
You moved her a step or two, didn't you, Lisa?
Just a step.
It wasn't a
Two
range.
steps. Yeah, it wasn't a range.
Yeah.
I just moved a step. I think along the lines what you were talking, Kurt, we have that longevity pay. And that's real outdated, but that might be something that you look at for people that have been here a long time, raise that longevity pay too. Because we get $30 a month extra for being here, 10 years? Is it 15? Once you hit that, you get an extra 30. So I mean, that would be something to think about maybe, and making it enticing for people to, just because you want to compliment people too that do stay a long time.
And do a
Yeah,
good job.
and do a good job,
Yeah.
yeah.
That longevity is $10 after 5 years, 20 after 10, and then the 30 after 15. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, it's something like that, I think.
5, 10, 15 years, 10, 20, $30.
And that's been like that
Oh,
for
long
a long
time.
time.
So is this pay scale.
Yes, it
Yeah.
still has
Long
been in
time.
place. Yes, it has.
I mean, I don't. So this wage that you're wanting to take her to, that's with the increase that she's already got basically? that we
It's
did
on,
earlier?
she's using the new pay scale, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's why I asked you
Yeah.
yesterday, so I could get that information.
Well, I'll make a motion, we increase Lisa from range 4 step 4 to range 4 step 5.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to raise Lisa Green from range 4 step 4 to range 4 step 5. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed no. Motion carried.
When's that effective, Lisa?
March 1. What kind of step, what do you have in mind for the pay scale?
Well, we discussed this when we were talking about our cost of living. I don't agree with just because you've been here one more year that you get a 40 cent or 50 cent an hour increase. I don't agree with that. I mean, who's to say, and I'm not doubting any department head's judgment on their employees, but it just seems that there's no set in stone thing of of an evaluation process that justifies that increase, other than you've been here a year.
Maybe if there was some sort of form that we filled out for you guys.
And, you know, and no disrespect, but I mean, every step increase that's put in front of us says basically the same thing.
Right.
You know, and it's not just your department, it's every department that we have. And I don't agree with the pay scale like that. I don't.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I think
What
you should be paid for what you do, your responsibilities here, and the type of job you do.
Mhm.
And it should be based on, solely on that. I don't care if you've been here 50 years. I mean, I do, but, you know, I don't think that warrants
Questionable.
I
50
kind
years,
of agree
you
with that,
know.
because if you really went, if you, I think you have a lot to think about there.
I do. I mean,
Yeah.
and we've spent
Because-
hours discussing this, and
Because I talked
it's
about.
not an easy.
We got motor
discussion.
vehicle, we got IRP, we got commercial, we got driver's license. We got so many more things, different things we do in my office than other offices do. And so,
Well, some other offices, most offices have changed. I mean, not that many added responsibilities, but they have changes they have to comply with as well too.
that's right. And then with our new movers, the state handing this all, it has changed in my
It
office.
has.
And we haven't done anything with my pay range for my girls. So that really is something to think about.
I think in some ways though, that pay scale puts the department heads at a disadvantage too, because I can tell, sometimes you have a department head, and I'm not talking about you, but in other places that come in, and they know it's their anniversary date, so they come in and say, it's time for his or her step increase. Now, I can read between the lines that it's time, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with it or not. But yet they feel obligated to bring that in and show it.
Well, because that's the way this pay
That's the
scale
way
is
it's been set
designed.
up. And we have to look at the courthouse as a whole, because everybody comes in and does it the same way.
Yeah, and maybe we ought to, maybe ought to, I mean, I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there too.
Well, that's
But like, tell people a month ahead to come do some workshop with you or something with you guys. So it's just not that day, like me coming in and cold on you and you
I guess,
don't know anything about it, what's going on, I don't know.
for every time there's a pay raise, I would almost like to just have the department head come in and say, it's up to you, I don't know if they deserve it, or it's up to you, but this person has really done a good job. Just give us an honest recommendation. And that's,
And that's
not
tough.
easy to do.
I mean, that's
not easy to do.
I mean, nobody likes to be the.
But that would be the ideal way, that we really knew, because we're not there every day, you know, that person's a
So
good
if
worker.
you really want to decide, you guys gotta start going to every office every day. and
You're
stuff.
right,
Yeah.
you're right, so we
Because if
have to
you-
rely upon
you
your
do. Yeah,
recommendation.
you do.
But I guess I'd just like to see a more, I wouldn't say honest, but a more detailed recommendation of what this person really does and what their opinion really is, you know.
Well, I appreciate you guys just keep me in the loop and let me know what's going on.
Well, and we had that discussion too, but
Yeah.
that's when we decided that we would take it on a case-by-case basis, and I said, I'd hate to be the first one. And this is the first one. And
Why
it
is
is.
it always gotta be me?
I mean, didn't I say that, Nita?
Yes, you did.
And I said, that's why I didn't want, because I thought we were more than generous on our increases off of, and I don't like the word cost of living, because that ain't a fair
Just
statement.
Just a bonus, right?
Yeah, so basically it's just a wage increase. And I think it amounted to something along those lines of 40 to 50 cents
It's like 29
or
cents.
29 cents, so.
No, and that's a good raise.
Is there a way to segregate the office? And what I'm referring
I've
to is,
thought
like in
about that.
Sedgwick
I'm
County,
having so
they have
much-
tag offices, and that's all they do is tags. Whereas you have somebody in there doing a tag, but they also want to pay their taxes. So,
I don't think
That's-
it's big enough to do that.
Sometimes I am, but sometimes I'm not. Does that make sense?
I was just wondering, because, you know.
I
you
see where he's
tax
coming from.
laws.
Sometimes,
Yes.
sometimes
Yeah.
that'd be fine.
Yeah.
The sewer place.
And with this IRP and commercial, it does make it a lot more. But it's funny that you say that, because I have discussed that. So I have 6 people in my office, and you basically try to split 4 and 2, or 3 and 3 maybe. Well, then is what you run into, oh my gosh, you got 2 people sick in this office today. And so then that's the advantage of being cross-trained and everybody knowing everything when you get
Or
short
you
of
get a line
staff.
of people.
Yeah, you got a
This
line of
two ain't
people.
doing nothing.
Yeah, you got a line of people, and those 2 are sitting up there,
I'm sorry, I'm a
what's
specialist, I can't do this. I only
Yeah,
do tax.
the PR to that might not be too good.
So, yeah, I don't think I want to do that. Then that'd be like me managing 2 different offices and worrying about people short-staffed here and there. And then if they're trained for it or not, that, you know, if you don't do it all the time, okay, so say it was split, but somebody hadn't worked over here in this office for 2 months, and you gotta pull them over here for a couple days. You gotta refresh them. You lose that retention of, the knowledge, yeah. So, at this point, I think it's probably best just to keep everybody trying to learn everything. I don't know what the answer is. I'm kind of wishy-washy either way, I don't know.
And also, we were, there was a discussion along the lines of when we did the annual, that would be our annual increase. And do away with the so-called cost of living. And then do these on a case-by-case, is I believe the way we discussed all that.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Yep,
Sorry I
thank you.
had to be the first one.
No, you're okay. Somebody's got me first.
Better be in line.
I would rather it not be me. Thank you.
Thanks.
I have been playing telephone tag with John Reagan no, I can't even think of the company, our engineering company.
Oh,
Kirkland Michael. He's been gone, I've been flying back and forth, so.
That's on your,
It's on
Stafford.
Yeah.
We'll recess for now.
Piper, I'm the exec of the Cannonball Trail, and if you look on the backside of the business card, we partner with the Central Kansas chapter, which their office is in Hutchinson. So between the 2 of us, we cover 14 counties. And I sent a proclamation out for any requests that it be considered to declare the month of March Red Cross Month. We've done this for over 75 years, and have been, hopefully, they feel that the Red Cross has been a positive exposure in the Stafford County. I've been with the Red Cross here for 12 years in September. And a couple of years, or 3 years ago when the tornado was here, we were here with our band. And we do have emergency supplies stored here. Emergency manager knows where they're at. So would love to entertain any questions that you have about the Red Cross.
How do you decide where to go? Like on a tornado and stuff like that, or how severe does it have to be, or?
We respond to all natural or man-made disasters because the American Red Cross is the first responder. Single-family fires we respond to. Disasters, depending on the severity of it, we have, I would probably go to the most severe because of the amount or the involvement of it. But we've got trained volunteers in every one of our counties that can respond to the lesser. So when, 3 years ago when Stafford, Edwards, and Kiowa was hit, we had units in each one of those counties. Stafford was hardest hit, so we had more of the volunteers up here.
Who are your volunteers in Stafford County?
Doug Brown is one of our trained. Doris Tompkins is, Mary Bunker, Reverend Foster.
He's
He's
gone.
Oh, he left?
Went to Colorado.
That's not good.
6 months ago?
Yeah, really?
And Brenda Mercer, she's still there? so I can't remember all of them. but
Bruce
yes.
Falk, is he on it?
Yes, Bruce and Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Bruce went down to Katrina,
Mhm.
representing the Red Cross, and that kind of how it got into his blood. You know, we're standing beside these families when their houses burn. If they have insurance, the insurance takes over. You know, we help the uninsured. We provide food, clothing, shelter, minor medical, and then emotional needs. And if you read about the fire that we had in Pratt on December 23rd with the 2 young boys that were perished, that was the first time really that I had to deal, besides the military, with funerals directly with them and the emotional need. And what is very frustrating, gentlemen, I'll be very honest with you, is that people, when I go out and try to promote the disaster training, health and safety training, CPR, is I will constantly hear it's not going to happen here. I myself have had to do CPR in the alley going to work. You just never know. But, and I hear that from a lot of people, it's not just here. You know, the fire that I attended in Pratt just Monday morning, she said, you know, I've always wanted to get a smoke alarm, and I was, just thought about it 2 days ago. Their house is now destroyed. That house where the 2 young boys were, there was no smoke alarm in the house. Could it have saved them? We don't know. But it definitely is the help. So with all the education, with all the preaching you do, maybe you can shed some light to the situation of why do people feel they are immortal?
Yeah, I was the same way. I had a tornado in 2012 up here, and you just think, well, you'll help your neighbors, but you don't ever think it's gonna happen to you, so
Well,
it can definitely happen.
yes, when I was meeting with the Gleason family, you know, that lost.
Yeah,
That was-
oh, man, it was hard.
And then the woman where the driveway where they pulled in, you know, every time I go to Great Bend, I think of that. And how the devastation she went through of feeling guilty. You know, why didn't they come up to the house? Why did they stop there?
That would have been true, you know.
So those are things, you know, and I keep in touch with them for a long time after, because it does stay with you.
Yeah.
Minor damage as well as big. We have a great working relationship in all of the 7 counties that I cover with the emergency manager. Because when this hits, I know where to go to the EOC. We're in the disaster plan, which I just gave some information to Doug Brown. I understand he's the new emergency manager. So, keeping it. And shelter facilities, we go through to all the communities and get a shelter facility agreement. So when it hits, we have the people that we can contact so we can go and open up the shelter. Our number one choice, of course, is the schools because of the size, showers, cafeteria. that type of thing. Any other questions?
So you want us to do a proclamation?
Yes, if you would
Sure.
consider doing that and join that with. I know it's mid-month, but it's in the
More
paper.
reason.
Do that by motion.
Everyone's confused because
I
they
make
don't
a
say
motion that we declare, make a proclamation with the Red Cross to declare March as American Red Cross Month.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, to declare month of March as American Red Cross Month. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Good. Well, thank you. If you're ever in Pratt, please stop in. I'd love to show you our facility, our van, and all the other emergency equipment that we have.
Where are you at?
114 North Main, right south on 281 before you get to the junction of Highway 54.
Yeah, I know where you're at.
Yeah.
Big Red Cross.
North of KS.
Pardon?
North of the KS.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go barbecue
Right.
place.
North of Dartmouth.
Okay,
Bill
now-
barbecue.
Now we know the important places.
We know landmarks by what our,
Thank you.
what our tummies
Thank
tell
you.
us.
Thank you.
See.
Yeah. Well, you can go to KFC first.
Not me. Anything else?
I don't have nothing.
You said something that Davin was gonna bring something up this morning?
I think that's just to me.
Oh, that's to you.
I don't know. But since it said with a voucher, I think
Yeah,
that
okay.
was just to me. Or you live.
I don't have anything.
I don't have
Okay, we'll adjourn.